How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Black Metal Rebellion. I'm your host, Jesse Morgan, aka Slammerella, and today we have the third and final part to Music to Ease Your Girlfriend into Metal with, Volume 3. This is going to have the heaviest stuff out of all three, I believe, and hopefully you stick around to the end and let me know your thoughts on all of these albums and bands. First thing we're going to talk about is From Ashes to New. They are an alternative metal slash hard rock band out of Pennsylvania, USA that started in 2013. Now, this isn't an official release, but I did pay for this for the wife to get. This is their very first EP, self-titled, and this came out in 2013. Again, it's just a burnt copy, just so that we could have it to listen to in the car. Can't really see the logo there because of the shine, but it says From Ashes to New on there. But yeah, it's got Stay This Way, Live Again, I Will Show You, Destruction of Myself, and My Fight on it. After this release came one that I don't have, and that is their Downfall EP from 2015. I will probably have it here for you guys to check out the cover, at least for it. The first album we do have, though, and that's called Day One, and that's from 2016. Again, if you're trying to get your partner or your girlfriend into metal, this might be a good band to introduce them to slowly work them up to heavier and heavier stuff. From Ashes to New is kind of like a, I don't know, Linkin Park meets Papa Roach meets Hollywood Undead kind of mix. Pretty good if you're into that stuff. Very jumpy, very anthemic sometimes. Saw them open up for, I believe, Papa Roach and Five Finger Death Punch and 6 AM, which I could care less about, but yeah, we saw them back in the day, which is why we decided to get these. But yeah, so that's their first album, Day One from 2016. Next is their second album. This is The Future from 2018. This also has a track from their first album, My Name. They like to throw that on pretty much every single one of these albums, and it is a good song. It's definitely one of those songs that is their signature sound, and they've kind of switched up here and there depending on what vocalist they have. I think this one might be the one with the new vocalist. Again, just kind of interesting style of alternative, rappy kind of metal with some hard rock and stuff like that in it. Some not really breakdowny type of stuff, but pretty close. And we also got the new album, Panic from 2020. Still kind of going in that alternative metal, sometimes metalcore, sometimes electronic hard rock feel. They basically are changing to go with the times, more of a club feel, sort of like Hollywood Undead did. They kind of became more clubby. Depending on who they're touring with too, I feel has an influence on them. So if they're touring with heavier bands, they might add some heavier elements into their stuff. If they're touring with more electronic bands, they might add those elements. I feel like they just kind of do that. At least these type of bands do. And yeah, so that's the start of this one. Those albums and EP by From Ashes to New. Again, cool alternative metal from Pennsylvania that started in 2013. Moving on to a big chunk of this video is going to be a project. If you saw Asking Alexandria in my last video, you probably would expect this band and this one. Their stuff starts really, really heavy and then slowly kind of goes the way of Asking Alexandria. It gets lighter, adds more hard rock elements, electronic elements, and less deathcore and metalcore. But the band I'm talking about is Bring Me the Horizon. This is their first album, Count Your Blessings. This came out in 2006. This is when they're still mostly deathcore. Before this, they had an EP though called This Is What the Edge of Your Seat Is Made For. I'll have it right here. That's from 2004 and was probably their heaviest release. Still need to get that one, but this is pretty good. I believe I see this a lot at Deja Vu Discs, my local used CD shop. But We got this one off of Amazon, I'm pretty sure. If not, we got it off Discogs, one of the two. So yeah, if you're looking for any of these, you'll probably find them on Amazon or Discogs. I rarely shop on eBay for CDs anymore. And please, if it's anything new, go check the band's Bandcamp. They probably have it on there. So yeah, the first album by Bring Me the Horizon is pretty heavy. I wouldn't suggest showing that to your partner right away. Maybe start with like Ammo or That's the Spirit first, but we'll get there. All right, continuing on, this is their second album. This is Suicide Seasons. I owned this back in the day, previous to this copy. I didn't have the green copy or anything, but I ended up selling a lot of my deathcore and metalcore to people off of Kijiji and Deja Vu discs because I didn't feel like I was ever going to get into it again, and I kind of feel remiss about doing it because there's a lot of albums that I wish I still had in my collection, like the August Burns Red stuff I had, or Texas in July. This was okay. I know there's a lot of popularity of the Chelsea Smile and Diamonds Aren't Forever. I read about Girls Like You on the backs of toilet doors. But yeah, this is still pretty heavy. Not a fan of the vocals in this album for whatever reason, or the next album, which I don't actually have. This is There Is a Hell, There Is a Heaven. I'm not saying the whole thing. It's from 2010, and it's their third album. It's got that weird dude on the cover holding something in a robe and a mask. It's basically like Suicide Season, just before they started going like softer, I guess. And we'll probably hunt that one down and pick that one up as well if we can find it. Moving on to when Bring Me the Horizon starts kind of going slower, and that's Sempiternal. But before we get there, I want to let you guys know Bring Me the Horizon are from England, and they started in 2004. They're mostly deathcore slash metalcore, depending on what early album you pick up or the first EP. Then they eventually kind of go to alternative metal and kind of hard rock and electronic and this other weird stuff. But this is the first album they start doing that in, and this is their fourth album, Sempiternal, from 2013. A lot of people hated this when it first came out because they weren't a big fan of the change, but they did start getting more mainstream fans and probably a lot more female audience members for sure. It's all right. I know Ollie Sykes is kind of one of those dudes that kind of sees the moment to try something new, and it probably wasn't too big of outside influences to make them go this way. I know Punk Rock MBA says that these guys were ahead of the curve when it came to this music. People just didn't appreciate it at the time. So I don't know, let me know what you think of their turn to this style of music post There Is a Hell, There Is a Heaven. It's interesting, it's good, but also it's a shame they're not as heavy. But that's definitely an album that might get your partner to get into heavier metal. Continuing on, this is That's the Spirit from 2015. This is just a shitty, slim bullshit digit book version. I don't like this packaging at all. But yeah, it was the least expensive version we could find, so we picked it up. I would prefer the thick book with the umbrella on it, but it is what it is. There's the track listing there. This is the one that has True Friends, which True Friends Stab You in the Front is kind of the whole thing. Again, it's all right. Just don't expect breakdowns or any sort of like super crazy heavy vocals, and more of the easier partner into metal type of things. So basically, with Bring Me the Horizon, you'd start with their latest album and move to their earlier stuff if you want to, transition properly. Then again, I'm missing an album. Missing the 2019 sixth album, Ammo, which is here. It's continuing on in that kind of weird, I don't know, post-metalcore, electronic pop, and slight screaming here and there. It's very clubby sounding, digital and overproduced for sure. But there is the odd enjoyable song on there if you're not looking for heavy stuff. Moving on from that was the latest release in 2020. It's potentially not exactly Bring Me the Horizon. They have this labeled as their post-human side project, and the post-human side project with its first album, Survival Horror. But you might also be able to consider this Bring Me the Horizon's 7th album. So there's the track list there. I'm not sure if too many people have heard of this, because I'm not exactly sure if they're advertising this as Bring Me the Horizon or not. I mean, it says Bring Me the Horizon right on the CD, but it's still considered not like them officially. It's a commercial release, whatever the fuck that means. But this does kind of have elements of harder stuff from the earlier years mixed in with what they're doing now. I haven't really listened to it all that much. I think I listened to it once when we got it and I forgot what it sounds like. So I'll have to give this another listen. If you haven't heard Post-Human Survival Horror, that is, by Bring Me the Horizon, let me know what you think of it if you do hear of it. Alright, moving on to another project that's still in the kind of metalcore vein. These guys are from Virginia, USA, and started in 2015. This is Bad Omens. I'm not sure how many people have heard of these guys, but they've been compared to Bring Me the Horizon. They've been compared to earlier Asking Alexandria and stuff like that. These guys I find are better than half Asking Alexandria or half of the Bring Me the Horizon's newest albums. This self-titled album from 2016 is really, really good. Highly recommend checking this one out if you do like the earlier Asking Alexandria or Bring Me the Horizon days. This is definitely some better material. Again, this is also from Sumerian Records. Came in a bunch of stuff that the wife and I got in a Sumerian Records haul. So yeah, this one has a few pretty good tracks on it. Glass Houses, Feral, Malice. And it took us a while to pick this up. We heard these guys a couple of years back, just hadn't pulled the trigger and hadn't been able to find a copy. So we're pretty stoked to get a copy of this. And then we were also stoked to hear that after this they have an album called Finding God Before God Finds Me. Kind of a weird, edgy album name, but it came out in 2009 and is their second full length. The album cover should be here. I gave it a listen to and it's really, really good. I mistook one of the songs for a Bring Me the Horizon track, but it isn't. It's actually by them. The lead singer in the video kind of reminds me of my friend Mello from Mello Vocals if he didn't have all the tattoos and piercings, because Mello is all tatted up and pierced up now, looking like a tribal metal warrior. Pretty cool, those face tattoos he's got going on. Anyways, I digress. Yeah, so check out Finding God Before God Finds Me. If you didn't know that Bad Omens had a second album like we didn't, it's really good and definitely worth listening to if you're into this style of music. Alright, moving on to another kind of bigger chunk in this video, and that is bands you're either going to like or you hate. But yeah, if you're here, you're either here because you don't mind this music or you are looking for stuff to get your partner or your girlfriend into metal with. So this is another one that they will more than likely enjoy. This is Motionless and White. This is their second EP called When Love Met Destruction. It came out in 2009. Before this, they had a EP called The Horror that was released in 2007. Good luck finding that for a reasonable price. I think I saw someone trying to sell it for $83 on Amazon and something similar on Discogs too. And I'm not paying $80 for 5 songs, so fuck that. Anyways, Motionless and White are a new metal, alternative metal, metalcore band that, again, we have another Pennsylvania band from Pennsylvania, USA, and they started in 2005. Again, this is their second EP, When Love Met Destruction, from 2009. It's fairly heavy stuff, but also not as heavy as some of the early Bring Me the Horizon or Asking Alexandria things. Moving on with their first album, this is Creatures. I'm not sure if this is where they started getting a lot of their hype or not. I feel like maybe it is. The artwork's pretty cool. I'm sure I've seen a lot of people back when I was still in bands doing stuff wearing these guys' artwork on their shirts. So yeah, just really interesting, kind of gothic-ish nu metal, metalcore, very edgy lyrics and stuff like that. Like this even has a cover of Rob Zombie's Dragula on it. Pretty interesting. The lead vocalist of this band kind of is trying a metalcore, nu metal, Marilyn Manson-esque vibe with his vocals sometimes. He's definitely trying to get that going on. Alright, moving on to their second album. This is Infamous. This is apparently a deluxe edition, and it came out in 2012. Comes with 4 remixes. There's a Cell Dweller remix for America. Cell Dweller is another good band that might ease your partner or girlfriend into metal with. I have their first album right here. Check it out. Pretty sweet. Kind of like an industrial metal band. So there we go. There's Infamous by Motionless and White. Still most of the same that Creatures is doing. I don't think they really changed too nu metal until about Graveyard Shift. This one is Reincarnate by Motionless and White. This came out in 2014 and is their 3rd full length. They're definitely well known by this point in their career. Probably doing some big tours. Probably got a little bit more influenced by Manson by then. And yeah. So there we go. There's the inside there. This is the album that has the track Dead as Fuck on it. I heard that one quite a bit, I think, within my friend circles and in the suggestions list back in the day when I was looking up this type of music. So check out Dead as Fuck, I guess. But yeah, so that's their 3rd album, Reincarnate, from 2014. Moving right along to their more nu metal-y, Manson-esque vocal style days. This is Graveyard Shift, their 4th album from 2017. Definitely seen a lot of shirts with that art on it. Pretty sure I have a shirt with that art on it. Maybe I should have worn that for this video instead of Dry Cell, but also Dry Cell's amazing. So there we go. There's the inside there. Trying to do his best Manson impression. Also, what the fuck is up with Attila and calling themselves Metalcore Manson? I don't get that. You're not Metalcore Manson, Franz. Sorry to tell you. Anyways, this is a really, really good album. This is definitely where I started getting more into them again. Pretty good album, Graveyard Shift from 2017. This also features a track with Jonathan Davis on it, and that is Necessary Evil. And if you like Korn, you should appreciate that. Obviously, this album is where they start going more nu metal-ish. Alright, and their most recent album being 2019's Disguise, and that is their 5th album. Pretty interesting artwork. Definitely enjoy the musical direction they went with on this. Hopefully your partner will too, and hopefully it'll convince them to come to the dark side. But yeah, that's Motionless and White with Disguise from 2019, their 5th album. Alright, now we're down to the last little section and probably the heaviest stuff in this update, so hopefully you stuck around and watched to the end. So now you get introduced to some pretty sweet stuff. This is a melodic deathcore / metalcore band from Paris, France, and they started in 2008. Who I'm talking about is Betraying the Martyrs. This is their first album, Breathe in Life, from 2011, but this isn't the original cover. There's the original cover. I like this one a little bit more. This one's a little more artsy fartsy, which is possibly cool and good for t-shirts, but I like the original cover better. They threw in a sticker with this one on that side there. It says it's for fans of Asking Alexandria, Winds of Plague, and Born of Osiris. I agree with that. Some Born of Osiris stuff can get pretty insane though. The vocals in this are like basically kind of deathcore growly things with some very sprinkled in kind of clean vocals for the ladies. It definitely doesn't get up there with any sort of like death metal or black metal extreme vocals, but it's pretty close. It's pretty heavy. Like, this is definitely the heaviest thing on the list. This will be probably the last thing you show your partner before you get into anything like death metal or black metal or slam. Before that, though, they have a really hard to find EP called The Hurt, The Divine, The Light, and that's from 2009. I believe I saw a copy on Amazon for a ridiculous price, also probably around $60 to $80, and possibly a copy on Discogs if you're interested. You'll have to go check that out. Alright, their second album comes in the form of Phantom, and that is from 2014. Again, more just really heavy, crushing breakdowns and pretty cool guitar riffs. The vocals are mostly fairly heavy. Again, not like death metal or black metal or anything like that, or gurgles. No slam gurgles. But yeah, it comes with a Sumerian record sticker and an album cover sticker, and more clouds and that floating disembodied person on the album cover. Not really a fan of the art of this. It's pretty plain and boring. Just a lot of white shadows and fog and birds and that dude doing the Jesus Christ pose. But yeah, moving on. They came out with another album in 2007, so a few years went by, and then Resilient came out from 2017. Third album, again, still pretty much the same sound. They don't really change up their sound all that much. There might be slight extra heaviness here and there, or extra symphonic parts sprinkled in here and there. But yeah, very melodic, very death/metalcore riffs and breakdowns. Vocals are similar throughout their discography as well. Nothing too big of a change. Nothing really on the back of the tray there. These guys don't really seem to be going for all that stand-out-ish crazy artwork or any super duper edgy titles or anything. I basically feel like they're just decent musicians playing deathcore and metalcore with the odd melodic or atmospheric elements thrown in here and there. And the last album they recently came out with in 2019 called Rapture. This has a little bit better artwork. I'm not sure if that's an iris or like a flower or whatever, so I don't know. Maybe they're trying to find Dormammu's realm from Doctor Strange. Definitely has that vibe going on with the colors and the waviness. Very interesting for sure. But yeah, this one isn't really any more melodic or less heavy than the others. It has its points here and there. Also came with another Sumerian record sticker that I'm never going to use, and then this poorly trimmed Rapture sticker, because you can see the bottom of another one starting there. But I don't hear too many people talking about Betraying the Martyrs, even in the metalcore and deathcore circles that I sometimes hear collection updates and stuff from. So maybe give Betraying the Martyrs a chance if you're into deathcore or metalcore, and definitely show that to your partner last out of all the things in these 3 videos. Yeah, and that's it, my friends. We made it through all 3 Music to Ease Your Girlfriend into Metal with volumes. Hopefully you enjoyed this limited series on this channel. Probably won't be doing anything with these genres or collection updates in a while. Moving on after this will be either the Metalhead box or my new metal / alternative metal albums that you will never own, but definitely should hunt down if you can video. It'll go from my least favorite and least rare to most favorite and most rare, probably. Well, yeah, looking forward to doing that one. I own a couple of them, but not all of them, so I'll have to have pictures for some of those. Anyways, that's it. Let me know which one of these, if any, albums you have. Let me know your thoughts on them. Let me know if this 3-volume series was a good idea. Did you show your partner any of these albums to get them into metal? Cheers. Also to the guy that said, imagine actually having a girlfriend. Just be you, my friend. They'll come. If you put in the effort in yourself, they'll see it and they'll be interested in you. Cheers and happy hunting. For glory, for the Rebel Alliance, Slammerella out. Music or albums to get your girlfriend to